Hi, flirting can be one of those things that really can make or break a conversation. Do you ever find that you can often be in a conversation with someone and you're often stuck thinking like, what do I say? How do I say it? How do I actually convey what I mean? And how do I be attractive to the other person? And you know what? Flirting or learning to flirt can be one of those things that can really make or break an interaction or a conversation. Because sometimes you might find you're speaking to someone and it can get a little bit boring, or you're speaking to someone and they might be trying to flirt with you, but you don't really know how to respond. If you're like this, what I want to do is give you now 5 quick little things that will really enhance your ability to flirt and also just really kind of relax you and make it a lot more fun, because well, really, flirting should be fun. Well, why you want to get good at flirting is because it is an unpracticed skill. Some people are really naturally good at it, while some people aren't, and that is only because the people who are naturally good at it accidentally had more of a chance to practice it. So I'm going to give you some certain tools and things that you can do so you can practice flirting now so you can have fun. And why I want to get good at flirting now is because that way the next time you go on a date, you won't have to actually overthink it. Because the truth is, when it comes to flirting, it isn't as complicated as you think. Some people think you have to do it a certain way, and that actually trips them up. So I'm going to give you 5 different mindsets that are actually going to enhance your flirting and make you kind of accidentally charismatic. Because no one likes someone who is really trying to put it on, or no one likes someone who has more of an agenda. So if we accidentally can be charismatic, then that's the better of the two. Number 1, the first thing about flirting is to do it for you. The worst thing that you can ever do if you're ever trying to flirt with someone is to do it for a reaction, because then our other person feels like you're actually doing it for the reaction and not for yourself. The reason why we flirt is because we want to feel good, right? And if you want to feel good, if you do it for you, if you say things that make you feel good, or if you say things that make you feel like funny or just enjoy the situation, other people naturally get involved. This is why I say things like go first, because when you go first, you set the standard of the conversation. And if you're doing it for the other person, that means you're doing it for validation, you're doing it for things that you want, like you're looking for someone to say, oh, you're a good boy, like you're okay, that kind of stuff. So that's the thing, if you do it for you, it'll automatically override that situation of being needy or really worrying about what the other person says. Because if you're ever in a situation where you're thinking, oh shit, I don't know what to say now, you can just ask yourself the simple question, what can I do now that will make me feel good? Because chances are if it makes you feel good, it'll make the other person feel good. And this is where we get into the second tip, which is calibrate afterwards. And here's the thing, right? I've given people the idea that you can just do it for you. And what happens is they start to become uncalibrated, where they do something that might be offensive or it might be just unrelatable. Because if you're someone who's really interested in sports and the other person is really interested in something really nerdy and you start joking about sports, chances are the other person is not going to get it. Because when you are flirting, the other person does need to be involved in some way. You can't just do it for you and just expect the other person to just get involved, right? So this is where we calibrate afterwards. If you notice that the other person is getting involved or getting excited, then that gives you more of a chance to flirt more, right? So when you start to express yourself a bit more and you can see that they're enjoying it, therefore you can start to express yourself a bit more, and it becomes a dance where you're moving and they're moving together, right? But since the first step is do it for you, the second step is calibrate afterwards, because you want the other person to also get involved in your fun, in your flirting, not everyone's flirting. So you might simply bring it back down to their level if they don't understand, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking about this, or this is the joke. You can explain it to them, which can be part of the joke. One of my favorite things to say, if you make a joke and the other person doesn't get it, one of the best things you can say to someone, if you make a joke that they don't get, you can simply say something like, hey, turns out that was a joke, but turns out I'm not as funny as I realized. The real joke is having to point that out. And that kind of relaxes the whole situation, kind of takes a lot of the pressure off. but the other person does need to get involved in some way, because otherwise you're just flirting with yourself. I know it seems a little bit contradictory at this point, but in reality what we have what is called a beautiful tension. A beautiful tension is where there's two contradictory ideas that really work together, but marrying those ideas together is what works for you. And for some people it might be that they need to flirt a bit more for themselves. For some people they need to be a bit more calibrated, but it's the finding the tension between the two, the beautiful tension, which is what works. Now, number three is having just a sense of humor. It's just laughing about things, not being afraid to laugh. People often think that flirting has to be this really serious, innuendo-driven, sexual encounter. Well, in actual fact, a lot of the time, what flirting actually is subcommunicated. And the reason why we laugh is because it relieves a lot of tension, a lot of pressure. And if you're doing something that is a lot of high pressure stuff, then you need something to relieve the pressure, because otherwise the other person might freak out or might have a panic attack or something like that. You know, chances are if you meet someone who's really staring at you a lot, and that might be really sexual or really high pressure, or you might really feel it, but it might be a little bit too much, because sometimes too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, you know? You might think cheese is good, but cheese coma, not so good. Number four, the real number four is don't try so hard. I see so many people trying so hard. They read a tip like eye contact, and then the next person they see, they're just like, hey, how's it going? And they're not even blinking. Or they really try to do something that is not them, or not in alignment with their values, and they're trying way too hard. This is why the overall rule is do it for you, because when you do it for you and you don't try too hard, you're really relaxed. And people respond well to things that they can relate to and that they identify with and that they are comfortable with. And if you're flirting with someone, if you're getting to know someone, it has to be relaxed. So the more you really try to do crazy things, the more you might shoot yourself in the foot. And this might be contradictory to some of the stuff that I might teach later, because it's kind of like, you know, do this, do this, do this. But at the whole core of everything I teach is just a sense of calm and a sense of relaxation, because you need to be able to relax. You need to be able to just feel calm and confident in who you are as a person. Because if you don't do that, then the other person is going to feel your need, and they're going to feel just that you're trying to get their attention. And you're doing it because you think that that's what's going to make you happy. Number five is just simply let it evolve. The biggest thing to know about flirting is that there is no uniform way of flirting. Because think of it like a dance. When you're interacting with someone with a dance, they have their moves, you have your moves, and it might evolve into something completely that you never expected. So when you learn to let it just evolve and just take it for what it is, not what you'd like it to be, which is a mantra behind a lot of my coaching, you will just eventually see that, you know what, I had an idea that I wanted it to be this sexy, flirty thing, but turns out we were just joking like idiots the entire time. That is flirting. Very simply put, flirting is just a conversation where two people get comfortable with each other. Because you can also use the word flirt where you're like, I'm flirting with the idea of buying a new car, because you're getting used to the idea of buying a new car. Flirting is just another way of getting used to someone and getting the other person used to you. So when you learn to flirt, it should just let it evolve, because there is you got someone else involved. And if you're trying to have a certain outcome, if you're trying to do something that will really validate you, then in reality of the situation is that you're not really doing it for yourself. You're doing it because you think that the other person is really going to fulfill part of you. And if you're that kind of person, like, maybe there's something else you need to work on first. But regardless, flirting should be something that is going to be fun, is going to be just relaxed, and is going to let you and the other guy get to know you more. If you want to know what kind of guy is most attracted to you, you can go to www.gethimhooked.com. So that way you can do the quiz, which is on my front page. I've recently redesigned my website to make it look a little bit more like a magazine, because I like the ideas of magazines anyway. And you can find a guy, and you can find what guy is most attracted to you. So that way you can practice these flirting tips. But also, flirting should be a way of life. A lot of people are afraid to think that flirting should be a way of life because they're not really in touch with their sexuality. If you learn to flirt and use the word flirt just because it's like, oh, I'm flirting with some ice cream right now, because you know you're like looking at the ice cream and you want it, and you're like not quite sure if you take it, but then you're like, oh, I think, you know what, maybe I should have the ice cream. It should be a way of life, and it should not be something that's taboo. So you can use these steps now, because in reality of the fact, when you're with friends, you're semi-flirting with them. Would you agree? Just to some extent, not to the full sexual extent. And so you can use these 5 tips to actually flirt with your friends. And try it now. If there's not a guy that you're seeing, try it with some friends. Doesn't have to be someone of the gender that you're most attracted to. It can be just people that are completely platonic. But give it a go, and also do the quiz, and just drop the answer that you get in the quiz below, because a lot of people do the quiz and a lot of people are getting answers that they're quite surprised by. And till next time, make sure to subscribe for how life and love and how the two come together. All right, Harvey Hook. See ya.